Bizarre Brain Comics. G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air. Howdy, hello, and welcome to another Bizarre Brain episode. And I'm wearing this helmet because we're here to talk about war, or war in the comics, a war comic. And the reason I'm wearing this helmet is because it belonged to a late friend of ours. He was Vietnam. He had been in the Marine Corps. And later in civilian life, he had assembled an authentic World War II Marine uniform. And this helmet, we got this helmet. It was divided up among his friends, amongst some of his other possessions. And we got this helmet. And we miss you, Kelly. As far as comics are concerned, we're going to talk. Yeah. Good World War II fighting soldier, tough guy, he's got to have a tough cigar. Ha, ha. We're to talk about this little volume right here. This is Our Fighting Forces, number 138. And we're going to talk about the story featuring the losers. Our Fighting Forces. This is from 1972. Okay, this is Our Fighting Forces, number 138, 1972. And Our Fighting Forces was it was a bi-monthly war anthology published by DC Comics, and for a total of 181 issues from 1954 to 1978. And as I said, this story featured the losers. This was an anthology title, but they had several stories featuring recurring characters. So in this case, the losers was an ongoing group of warriors. And they also had, well, in other books like, I think it was G.I. Combat had Sergeant Rock. There was the Haunted Tank, Enemy Ace, Johnny Cloud, Captain Storm, Gunner and Sarge, and others that I just can't remember. And speaking of some of those, was in The Losers. And the title of this story is The Target. And The Losers were created by writer Robert Kanigher. We've spoken about him before. And they have first appeared in G.I. Combat 138. What a coincidence, because this is Our Fighting Forces 138. And first appeared in 1969. And then that was in G.I. Combat, and later was a recurring feature in Our Fighting Forces. And the group comprised several characters which were featured in their own stories, but combined for this group. As I said, that featured Captain Storm, who was a PT boat commander who had lost his leg, and later an eye as well. So he had a wooden leg, and he had. I haven't read anything Captain Storm in probably 50 years. He had little divots gouged into the deck to put the heel of his wooden leg in, into to help him steady himself as he walked along the deck. And then there was Captain Johnny Cloud. He was an Army pilot. He was an American Indian, a Navajo Indian. He was a fighter pilot. There was Gunner and Sarge, who were just two hard-fighting soldiers. And this story also features another character that was created specifically for in the storyline. So, and she followed on for quite a while after that. I've forgotten her name now, but we'll get to that when we cover the story. And Robert Kanigher, as I said, or might have been pronounced Kanigher, I don't know which. As I said, I covered him before when I did the Viking Prince, because he had written that and some of the other adventure stories in that particular issue. And those were all medieval type adventure stories. And he always emphasized the group's bad luck, hence the title, The Losers. They're anti-heroes, and the stories regarded the negative aspects of war. And his career spanned 5 decades, and he wrote Wonder Woman, as I said previously. He had written Wonder Woman for many years after her creator died. And as well as he had written for a variety of other adventure titles, like I said, The Viking Prince. I think he wrote some, not Three Musketeers, Robin Hood and Silent Night. I think, I'm not sure what all of that kind of stuff was stuff that he wrote. But he's most closely associated with the DC War comics, and justifiably so. And this story was drawn by the late, great John Severin. I've mentioned him before because in a previous program I talked about his sister, Marie Severin, when we were in one of the Spider-Man programs, episodes. Got a puff to keep the butt lit. Okay, John Severin, he was John Powers Severin from 1921 to 2012. I met him once for several years during the 80s. He lived here in Denver, and I got to meet him. And at that time, he was writing drawing the Nam for Marvel Comics. And if I ever get a hold, again, I had a copy, but I'm not sure if I still have it. If I ever get a hold of the specific issue that I saw him working on, I'll tell you about that. Okay, and he went to the High School of Music and Art, and he started working at the Charles William Harvey Studio, doing advertising work. And he worked with Harvey Kurtzman and Bill Elder. They were two of the names in that name of the Charles William Harvey. And the names Harvey Kurtzman and Bill Elder might be familiar because they both did a lot of work for EC Comics and did Little Annie Fanny for Playboy magazine. And they did some sample pages. I said they, it was mostly Bill Elder and John Severin. They did some sample pages and got work from Crestwork Publications under the great Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. And eventually he got in with EC Comics under Bill Gaines. That was EC, not DC. And there he did war, western, and other adventure stories. He didn't do, to my knowledge, he didn't do any of the science fiction or horror stories, but he may have ventured in those veins once in a while. And later doing some humor work for Mad Magazine, which was an EC title. In fact, it was the last EC title after they closed shop and just went to Mad Comic went to Mad Magazine. And all through his career, he did war and westerns for various publishers, including DC and Marvel. And I remember seeing his stuff also doing like Billy the Kid for Charlton and various other things. And he even did some superhero work for Marvel. I remember seeing his inks over, I think it was the pencils of Herb Trimp, maybe his name's pronounced Trimpy, I don't know, on some of the Hulk stories in the 60s. All right. Lock and load. Let's do our fighting forces. G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air. Yep, our fighting forces number 138. Yeah. Great cover by Joe Kubert. Still smoking that cigar. I'll put it over here. Okay. I first got this book, now not this particular copy, when it first came out in 1972. Over the years, I'd lost it, but I come across it again in must have been probably a bargain bin. It's pretty rough. Something kind of torn off, paper damage there. And this is one of the reasons I got it in the first place. Here's a submarine. Of course, this is featuring the story, but actually in that story there's no Nazi submarine, as this would indicate. But in a following story, there is a Nazi submarine. Joe Kubert did so many of these covers for all the war titles. Of course, he did so many other things as well. And so many of the stories. He did a lot of Sergeant Rock in the 60s and 70s. Here we go, the losers. Now look here. This is the first page of that story. Now look at this. I know he had a lot of photo reference, but look at this. Just that first panel. Look at that. All those aircraft. You see the searchlights, and he did. Now John Severin was known for doing. I don't know if you can see him here, but in that black is what's supposed to be the night sky. There, look at all those tiny, tiny, tiny little lines. He's known for doing a lot of little lines, and then here the shading in the aircraft. And we'll see more in that stuff. And this is London bleeds as the German Luftwaffe gouges at its vitals, defended only by a handful of RAF Spitfires and Hurricanes. You can see here the Spitfires going up, and here's the German bombers, and the anti-aircraft shells going off. Ack. That's a great drawing right there. It would be totally horrifying to be in the midst of it, though. Well, at a sub basement below London's torn thoroughfares. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but here they're talking about Captain Storm. The Captain Storm is missing, presumed dead, as a result of an explosion he set off in an enemy-held Norwegian village. So in this story, Captain Storm is not present. This is just a picture of him here. And Captain Storm, he's the PT boat commander, who had a wooden leg. And I think in this, because here they're referring to an earlier story, and then there's a little teaser at the end for something coming up. Then they show a film here, and this is a great recreation of explosions we've seen in a lot of newsreel footage and stuff from the time. Ship exploding, being blown up. And this showing that this footage was taken from another ship. Something is tearing our convoys into mincemeat. Now I can't get a hold of it. I can't get a hold of the page. There we go. And they're showing the survivor who's picked up. He said, we haven't learned what weapon the enemy is using. Your mission is to find it and destroy it. Later, a jeep containing 3 men and a girl speeds northwestward along the English coast. And here we go. And then we finally get to see these people. And here they are. It's Gunner and Sarge and Johnny Storm and what's her name? Ona, yeah. She's a Norwegian lady from the Resistance. She's in there, and then here's a great Severin face. Oh, look at that. And like I said, oh, the little lines. And he's got some good solid blacks here because it's at night, but normally he would have more little lines than the solid black. He said, hold it. That's our picking target, and we're it. That's a German Messerschmitt. And then now we pull back, and you can see here's the title. This is in the title page, part of the double page spread. Their jeep careening off the road, being strafed by that enemy aircraft right there. Now here you see a bunch of little lines in that bale, hay bale or haystack, and the trees. Oh, great. Here's this tree. Look at that. See if I can focus on that. Oh, yeah. Look at that tree. Beautiful. As I said, this is written by Robert Kanigher. So there it is. And here they come in. They're into the farmland, and they drive. Hold it. He's telling Johnny Storm is telling them to hold their fire while they're being strafed. Hold it, and they drive right into a pile of loose hay, and then they open up. Brap! There they go, and they just shoot holy hell out of that Nazi aircraft. Brap. Come on. This paper does not want to cooperate. I'm trying here. Here we go. And then they get away. The plane crashes, and they're getting away, and they drive down to the beach, and their rendezvous with a Royal Submarine, British Navy. By Jove, I didn't expect a lady on this show. Yeah. Here you can see more of the millions of little lines. He always used a croquil pen. So he had millions of lines, and he didn't normally use a brush except for the big solid blacks like back here. Here's their you can see his helmet, and they're on board the boat. There's Gunner and Sarge. This is Gunner, and that's Sarge. It's Johnny Storm. Remember, he's a Navajo. You can see, and you can really see it in his features here. And there's Ona in the background, and they're preparing to dive. Now here we go. This is one of the reasons. Now one of the reasons I had always liked this story, this book, is because, and I've got others with submarines, but because it's got a submarine. That's always near and dear to my heart because I served on a submarine decades ago during the Cold War. And this is here. This is a World War II era diesel submarine. And look at that. Oh, that's just beautiful. I haven't had boats that look like that in probably close to 70 years. Level out of depth, aye, sir. And here they're bunched inside the ship. See all our main characters, but it's like he had good reference. All the dials and valves, and here's they don't have the kind of steering gear that we have on ships today, submarines today. Here you see him in the torpedo room. I see the torpedo room. Yeah, we're primed for the hunt. Wonder who's going to do the hunting, us or them. And then they're showing, see for yourself, the enemy's turning the waters off England into a graveyard of sunken ships. And that's a great little map there. Very, very detailed for a small drawing. And again, you can see all the principles in these two small panels. Yep. And they're out to find whatever the weapon is. And they come up with the plan. Here they are in the wardroom, talking about it. And here she's a lovely lady. Severin, he's just a great draftsman. The human figure with details, machines like the ship, the boat. You saw that Jeep earlier. Just great. He is a wonderful draftsman and a very unique style. Here in this ceiling, you can see overhead. You can see what he's known for. All those little lines. So they're going to, against their better judgment, but she insists, have the girl in the lifeboat, all alone, hope to be picked up. Wait, listen, the enemy might suspect a trap with 3 men and a woman floating in a raft, but never a woman alone. True enough. So, look at this. Very dark. Of course, the submarines would normally only surface at night, so that they couldn't be seen, and that way they could run their diesels and charge the battery, because they had to stay submerged all day long, running on their battery. So they do that. Yeah, she's right. So they let her out alone. These pages are not wanting to cooperate. Here we go. And the equipment. We're tracking her, sir. There's they're being tracked. There's something on the radar. She's gone, sir. Vanished clean off the board. Because they had some. They're given. Oh, I'll show it later. Captain speaking. Start a sweep of the whole area immediately. First, we lost Storm. Now Ona. Never should have let the kid go out alone. And then here we go. See the ship where they surfaced during the daytime, because they're looking. But this panel here might not look like that much, but let me tell you. Okay, it's just the sky, just the ocean, and just the silhouette of the submarine here. But the way that image is pulled way back tells it all. They seem to be all alone. Then, like a severed artery beating again, Captain, we picked up her signal, because she had a transmitter on her. Flank speed, prepare to attack. And here they're going out. The rest of the losers are going out. And he's got them these little explosive coins, or explosives disguised as coins. You have 1 hour to find her, drop the explosive, and escape. By that time, I will deliver our torpedoes at the target. Good luck. Well, Sarge, the losers are still batting 1,000. Stop gabbing and row, gunner. We only got an hour. Yep. And here it is, just beyond the horizon. Here's a ship. Hey, it looks like a straggler from a convoy. But it's not. It's just disguised as a cargo ship, so that it can get in amongst the convoys. Look at this nice water. Very nicely done. Very lovely. Ona, ja, Amerikaner. The Fräulein is our prisoner, just as you are. Her tale of escaping from occupied Norway fooled no one, but now you will tell me the truth. 9? Or must you be persuaded? Yeah. We get a really good look at his face a little later. And, of course, this Nazi captain, he's just being a total so-and-so. Slugging gunner, slugging sarge. None of them will speak. Here's a really, really great shot of Johnny Storm's face. Correct. Yeah. Johnny Cloud. Johnny Storm is different. And England, a U-boat surfacing off port bow. Battle station. So they drop their American flag and raise the Nazi flag, showing their true colors here. That's what and that's exactly what that expression means. Showing their true colors. Dropping their fake flag and raising their own. Pirates used to do that. And then they're opening the crates that are on the deck, showing they have deck guns. Here we go. Now this is great here. And sad. We get a good view of that submarine commander, his face. and he's giving the order to shoot. And here's an equally great shot of the German commander's face as he gives the order to shoot, and then just the distance. Of course, the distance in reality would probably be even farther than that, but look at that. Here's the sub. Open it. No, okay, that's the German ship. Here's the sub. Here, they're exchanging fire, and unfortunately, the British submarine is sunk. The Englander is kaput, and it is obvious that you are all spies. Therefore, I sentence you to death. I'm starting to talk like Arnold, which would be right here. They're going to hang him. Any last requests? Yes, Captain. Perhaps you and your men can enjoy spending this English currency. We have no further use for it. You Americans must make a joke, even at the gates of hell. All right, my men will be able to use the money when we conquer England. Again, look at those. Each face very distinct and individual. Great. He throws the coins down, and they jump over the side because kablooey, kablooey, and then that ship goes down. Mission success, but we lost the sub. That's par for the losers. Yep. So here they are, stranded out in the middle of nowhere. But moments later, the losers flounder toward a raft. Over here, it's one of the sailors from the submarine. Says, "Blimey, I picked up." He must be the radioman. "I picked up a garbled message on shortwave before we were sunk. It said, 'Crazy pirate with a peg leg and an eye patch, attacking enemy and allied ships off Norway.'" It goes, "A one-legged, one-eyed pirate?" That's a teaser, because that is Captain Storm. And then how they always ended all their war stories. Make war no more. A good sentiment. Laudable sentiment. Now, the rest of the book, and this story covered the first half of the book, and I counted it before. I think it's 14 pages long. Then there are other stories here. USS Stevens, it's a comic strip, and this is a story and art by Sam Glansman. And if I remember correctly, I didn't look him up. He was a sailor on a ship during World War II, and this USS Stevens was basically recounting, possibly sometimes exaggerated, but it's mostly day-to-day life of the sailors on board the ships. In this particular story, I'm not going to talk about it. Just look at just day-to-day life going by on board ship. But this particular one is about a comic strip that the main character has created. But then this other story. Now, I mentioned this artist before, Russ Heath, when I did the Viking Prince. They had a couple of story in that same issue drawn by Russ Heath, and he did some beautiful stuff. He did a lot of westerns and war comics and you name it. And he did beautiful, beautiful work. Also known for Little Lions, but not as much as John Severin. And this is Shotgun Frogman. I'll just show you some of the stuff. And one of the reasons I got it is because it's a submarine story and scuba diver. Two things I was very interested back then. And he's recounting the history of the character. Something was wrong, and he had to guide the submarine because their sonar was out or something like that. Some good work, great work. And but he's dazed, and he keeps seeing the enemy frogmen as attacking Indians. It's totally beautiful work. And here we finally see the Nazi submarine that was teased on the front cover. Finally. And like I said, I was on a submarine, and that's something that one of the reasons why I like this is near and dear to my heart. That's why I also loved Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Of course, that's probably what got me interested in submarines in the first place. Why I served on a submarine. It's some great work, some good stories, great artwork, all the way around. War is hell. And I'm glad I didn't have to live through this stuff. My dad was on the USS Iowa in World War II. And he witnessed the Japanese surrender. My brother was in the Navy during the Vietnam era. And I was in the Navy during the Cold War. So I have a long history of service. Had uncles on both sides of the family who served. And give credit for every man or woman who serves. And that's all about that. Please like, subscribe, and share. And remember, comics are art. Thank you very much.